Welcome back to my channel, painters, gamers, and creators. My name is Mel, and I'm here because I have a huge backlog. I've been on and off in the hobby for a couple years now. I'm absolutely still a beginner, very much a beginner, and my backlog has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's been really hard for me to get motivated to really complete a project. And I'm like this with a lot of other things, but I really want to get better at this because I find painting relaxing when I have the chance to do it, and I love the way they come out, and then when I play my games I feel so proud that they look so good, and then I can really focus on having a lot of fun. And I was looking online at a whole bunch of other videos that these amazing creators have made about motivation and how to get through your backlog and what to do to get you painting again. And they're all great advice, but I didn't see anyone there sort of going through their journey of all the things that they've painted and the struggles and the interesting good things that they've done and they've learned. So I thought maybe we can go through it together. You guys can tell me about things you're learning and painting and what you're doing and looking forward to, and I can show you the stuff that I'm working on, and we can have some fun, and most importantly, paint. So let's get to it. Okay, so today I'm going to be working on my necrons, my necron warriors. I went a little bit overboard. So my husband is really into necrons, and it was his birthday, so I got him a necron army off of eBay for an incredible deal. It was about 1,500 points, and this is when I really started feeling the I guess sort of like the whole backlog trauma. Oh my goodness. The backlog weight, feel, worry, scale. I thought it would be a fun project. I would work on it before his birthday because I got it at least a month in advance, and then I can surprise him all at once. Well, first of all, you obviously have to talk to whose army it's going to be, what kind of units that they want. So that was the first thing. I almost made only all immortals because I started on those guys first. And then after speaking to him, he was like, "Oh, I also want some death marks." So I was like, okay. Good thing I asked, because I would not have done that. And then, of course, I had to ask him exactly what color scheme he wanted, and, it ended up being, I told him before his birthday even came about. So, but so far, I've really enjoyed painting them. I think I really like painting the warriors the most right now, because they're just so cool. Like, look at this. This guy's got half his head off. That's so cool. I think it's so much fun to paint that. Like, I can make that part silver, and then like he's got all his cables coming out, so you can paint the different cable colors. I think it's really neat. The death marks, they all look the same. Although they do have really cool glowy bits. I can show you what I did. I've got one here. He's okay. When I originally started working on these guys, I only had army painter colors because they're the cheapest. It's a good starter kit. I really don't want to invest too much in paints until I'm like comfortable with my skill level. Like, why get the fanciest of fancy paints when I'm just over here trying to have fun? But the only color that works like that neon sort of green that's really common with necrons was something called jungle green on here, this one, jungle green, and it just it was too jungly not sciencey enough, if you know what I mean. So I just, after seeing the death marks and immortals that I made, I was like, I can't do it. I just can't. So I ended up buying the Necron like starter color kit. I know I've worked on more of these. Hold on. You. Oh, your eyes are already white. So I ended up working on I got the Necron starter color kit and got the technical Tesseract Glow Citadel color, and everything just comes out so much better with that, honestly. Sometimes I guess color just does work, and I feel a little guilty because it was, you know, so much money for like 5 colors, but I think these guys have come out way better than the first group that I've done. Improvement, yay! Who knew that painting 40 Necron warriors will get you better? Who'd have thunk it? Now, I would say my headspace for all this stuff, God, I hate the word headspace, but I don't know what else to call it, is that while I'm not a perfectionist by any sense of the word, there are times where I just do things and I'm just like, whatever. But other times, while I'm not a perfectionist, I still just feel bad that I like didn't try hard. But then I'm not going to try that hard, and then I feel this guilt. And I'm like, gosh, why do I feel this way? This is the worst. The worst. But, you know, sometimes you just can't take these things too seriously. You will get better with practice. You really will. Like, you know, people weren't the best painters in the world in a day. These people don't paint incredible miniatures in a week, you know. They get a 1,500 point army, and by the end of it they're pros and can win awards. It's not how that works. So I just try to say that to myself, and then maybe I can convince myself if I tell you guys. Do as I say, not as I do. Practice. Practice, practice. It's the way to do it. Now, the reason why I'm painting these things white right now is because I'm trying to do that glow effect without actually doing the whole work of doing a glow effect. There's this really, really good Necron tutorial that I watched. I can link it below. And I thought it was really simple and really cool way to get these guys, you know, coming out nice. And basically what he did was he would paint the things that he wanted to glow white. And then he would come back in with like a pretty light dry brush of the white. He would dry brush over everything. And then that way it makes it look like it's diffusing the light, you know? And then after that, he puts on another layer of the glow, the Tesseract Glow, and it's such a thin color. I mean, it's called a technical. I don't really know what any of that stuff means. If you guys know, let me know. There's like technical colors, and then like base, and well, I guess base makes sense, and shade makes sense. But what is technical? What do they mean by that? Layer, you know, all that stuff. But anyways, he puts a thin coat of that on top of the white, and it makes it look like, you know, it's glowing from lighter to darker because, you know, the gun itself is dark. I don't know. I thought it was super clever. Noob me over here was like, whoa, you're so cool. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. Oh my goodness. The shakiest hands in the whole world. Hopefully it's not too blurry for you guys. This is my first time. Okay. So right now I'm doing it in a batch of, gosh, how many is this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 21? I don't know. I just put everything that I pre-did on a cardboard box, like of the flat part of it. Oh my goodness. On like the flat part of it, and then sort of taped them all to it, painted all of them all at once, and then it grabbed a row of them and just started painting. Really, all you gotta do, you just gotta start painting. So that means I picked out 21 of them, and I still got another 19 to go. This is taking me quite a while to do, but I think it's because I'm not consistent. I'll get faster once I do more, you know what I mean? Anyway, so tell me guys, right down below, what projects are you hoping to work on and feel motivated again to work on? Because this army has been in the back of my mind for quite a while. You know, it was a birthday gift, he hasn't been able to use it yet, and it's felt pretty bad that he hasn't been able to. And then of course, adding to my backlog, he was like, well, you know, who are you gonna fight with, the Necron army with me? And I'm like, you know, one of your other armies. I don't really have one of my own. I've gotten into the hobby by painting, you know, my husband's armies. And he's like, well, you need to get your own. So then I started doing research and I really fell in love with the Sisters of Battle. I just love strong women kicking ass. And the whole crusade thing is just, you know, a lot of fun. And the fact that they worship the God Emperor so much and so fervently, he just like gives them powers. It's ridiculous in the best sort of way. So I got a Sister of Battle army too, not even put together. It's only a 500 point army. It's that box. The newest box. Oh god, that's probably way too much paint. And so now I need to put them together so that I can fight against these necrons with. Oh, god. And then, so you guys really know the extent of my depravity, I'm a DM for Curse of Strahd campaign. It's been a blast. I love being an evil vampire. It's been a lot of fun. And I hate that I always use my husband's old Eldar army as all of our pieces. It's like all of our mini pieces and stuff like that. And I'd worked with an FDM printer for a while now because I used to cosplay and I used it for that. And I just really wanted to print people's own unique minis and our own monsters and things like that and really help immerse ourselves. Especially because I have a friend who suffers from that, I guess, I'm sorry. It's not suffering. It is just something that a small percentage of the human race has where they don't have their inner eye, you know? They can't see what you say in your mind is happening in their heads. So theater of the mind just doesn't work for them. And I'm pretty much the opposite. I can really imagine things in my head if you explain them to me. You know, I close my eyes and I can really visualize everything. But I wanted to appeal to them, you know, in the D&D campaign. I didn't want to sort of shut them out of that world just because, you know, oh my gosh, it's okay. It's like, you know, the dry brushing that I'll do. It's fine. Anyway, I want them to be able to see everything. So I started printing with the FDM printer of the monsters, but you know how that works. It comes out with tons of lines and like you can try and be as perfect as you want. And it's just, you know, not going to come out right. Not really. Especially if you're trying to be on a budget. So, as I say that, I started researching resin printers and saw how incredibly accessible they've become and easy to use. And so, of course, I got one. I got an Elegoo Mars Pro 2, like the small one, the red one, and got it working immediately, and it's so easy to use, and everything so simply comes out incredibly good. I'm very happy with the purchase. But then that means that I've been 3D printing all of the monsters we've been fighting, and you know, all the players' models and things like that. And so then that's added to my backlog even more. I of course was like, oh my gosh, I have to print out everything. So we were finishing up an Out of the Abyss campaign. I wasn't running it, but I was a player, and I was like, well, when the final battle, spoiler alert, when obviously you have to fight everything, I guess I won't spoil it for you guys, but at the end, when you gotta fight all the bad guys, I'm gonna print them all, and they were all really big, you know. And now I've got all these incredibly huge 3D printed resin models that I really want to paint. And then I've got all the player characters from my campaign now that I really want to paint for them. And then, you know, I gotta paint Strahd and all of his bad guys. At least Strahd before the final battle. They're not close to the final battle yet. But I mean, at this rate, they might be. You know, at this rate, my painting rate, they might get to the end before I even finish painting him, and like, there's only 3 of them, and they're 3 characters. I just really need to get to that. But, you know, birthday gifts come first. So here we are. Painting. So what else is exciting that's happening? I feel like the one thing that I first need to really improve on, besides my hand stability, which I guess that's just, you know, learning the best position for yourself, is getting a really smooth finish on everything. So like, this is just me being lazy, but when I put on the wash on these sort of bronze panels, I just sort of went wilds, but everything just looks kind of thick, heavily placed. And I can show you guys maybe another video, something else that I worked on. It was a lich in our Out of the Abyss campaign that ended up not being a bad guy. That's a story for another day. And everything just looked really grainy and really thick, and like, it might be that I don't water down the paints enough. I'm hoping that a wet palette like this will really help, but you know, I don't know. Oh wait, well, I'll put some of this on, but I gotta now dry brush on the white onto all these things so that they come out sort of like that. This was like a test one that I did, but I'm happy that it came out this way. So we're gonna try again. But first, dry brush. So I've got an old paintbrush, or not an old paintbrush, an old makeup brush. And I'm just gonna lightly put it on that, and his face a little. We'll see how that goes. It always feels so scary to put on this dry brush because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just made completely white all my weapons. But I mean, that's the point. And then once I've got the green on there, it'll come out hopefully Cross your fingers. Really good. Real good. But we'll see. I definitely got to show you guys the video that taught me how to paint them, because they definitely would not have turned out this good without it. I feel like I have a really hard time. I mean, I'm so new at this, really. I say I've worked on this stuff for like 2 years, but it's been me looking at tutorials, painting a few like KDM minis, and some of, you know, the old armies that we've got. And then putting it down for several months. So I barely got any practice, as you can see. And I have a hard time picking out what colors would work, you know, like what'll really look good together, what sort of highlights and things like that to put on. Highlights, to me, I understand their concept. I really do. But I just feel like in practice, it's so much harder, especially to get it to where it looks natural. Like I've done highlights on the green cables here, you can see. And like, I guess now that it's dry and I've taken a step back, it looks okay. But like, man, when you're first putting that on, it's just like, what the heck? This looks like I've just painted a white strip, or like a lighter strip on a darker strip. And it's really something I want to master, because that's, I mean, I feel like that's step one to really make your stuff go from like okay to like bam. That's the good shit. That's that good. You know what I mean? But I feel like the necrons don't really give you a chance to do that, because so far all this is washes. Oh, I forgot to do the back. Oops. Just real quick. But yeah, I feel like these warriors don't really give me the chance to practice that. But I am going to be, I have, what is it called? A Canoptic Doomstalker that I want to work on next. I've got him put together. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pause, a little break on these warrior buddies. I've done about half of them and it feels good, but man, can it be tedious to, you know, work on so many of the same warriors. I mean, yes, they're super cool because they've all got, you know, different parts broken off and things like that, and I love that. I love that whole idea of these robots, you know, coming out of being asleep for, gosh, thousands and thousands of years and then coming up to wreck some shit. But you need a little break, you know? And what's a better break than a giant, cool, frickin' vehicle, you know? I call it a vehicle, but you know what I mean. This like really giant, really cool thing. I feel like that's the perfect break. And then after that, you know, I can get back into working on these buddies again, the other half. And maybe some of the scarabs too. Alright, so I'm going to use some of the Tesseract Glow Technical, whatever that means, and I'm going to just spread it on these dudes. So you guys should tell me, have you ever gone to like a store, like a gaming store, and played there with people? I gotta say, I'm terrified to do it. One, you know, it's new people. Gosh, is that okay? Oh. You know, it's new people, and I'm the type of person that like, when it's with my friends and the people I know, I can just be so much. I really am a completely different person. And then when it's brand new people I've never met before, I can get so cringy. Oh my gosh. What do you think? We'll keep going. I can get so incredibly cringy. Like, I just get really awkward. And then the next thing you know, I'm saying something extremely uncomfortable. And I don't know why I do that. So, like, I'm tempted to go to one of these places and fight with other people, but then it's like I gotta deal with myself being like, oh my god, what am I saying? With other people, you know, being probably super good at the mechanics of this game, and, you know, other people that are probably just as awkward as me. It's hard, man. Being social is difficult. And then with the whole pandemic that's happened or still happening wherever you are, I'm thankfully somewhere that has gotten much safer. I've just lost all practice. What does a girl do? So you gotta tell me if your experiences there have been good. So I think it'd be a lot of fun to play with different armies and stuff. You know, there's only so many armies a person can have until you gotta just say, oh my god, I just did his whole face. Until you just say, you know, enough is enough. No more armies. No more. And then you guys gotta tell me who is buying and making those $3,000 army sets on eBay. Like, oh my gosh, they're beautiful, they come out so good, and I'm so proud of the people that do it, but who can afford that? Oh my gosh. And if you're making some good money on eBay off of selling your painted minis, I'm so proud of you. You are doing the hustle. You are doing the good. You are doing that good job. And you keep doing it. And those people buying it off of them, you must be doing great in life. And I'm very happy for you too. Because, wow. Just wow. But they come out so good. I think these guys are coming out okay. Yeah, okay. You know, the perfect is the enemy of the good. And I don't even know if they're coming out good. But you know what? They're good enough. I love that saying. Sometimes people just get too bogged up on the perfect, and you need to just have it be, you know, good enough. And I'm so glad that art lets you do that, because I used to be an engineer. I designed electrical engineer. I designed the electrical components of homes, businesses. I'd basically design where the whole electrical system for homes and buildings and things like that. And the thing is, with that kind of stuff, is that you have to be perfect. And like I said before, I am not the type of person that tries to achieve absolute perfection. I'm really not. I'm too lazy for that. Which is a really, really bad, really bad trait for an engineer, I gotta say. Because, you know, you don't want someone like me designing your stuff. I mean, don't worry. I had people checking my work, and I tried really hard to be perfect because I knew this stuff was important. But I really didn't like it. And it would just be so hard, because I'd look at something and be like, yeah, this looks great. But then I know that I had to go and make it absolutely perfect. And it's just draining. And I'm so happy that art, you could really find perfection in so many imperfections. You know, you can do a brushstroke a certain way and it'll seem lazy to you, and the next thing you know, it comes out so nice. And then you're like, you know, I'm so happy I went this route, this unexpected place, you know? And don't worry, other electrical engineers or other engineers are not like me. Most people in that field love perfection, you know, and seek it and strive for it and feel proud of it, and they should, because it's important to their job. So my goal for this channel today is to do an hour of work. And I think what would be a really fun goal and kind of a thing to show you guys is to do sort of like a little reel of me working on things for an hour a day, just an hour a day, and then showing you like the before the hour, after the hour for the whole week, and sort of see what it looks like. Because, you know, like I said, you're not going to get anywhere in this hobby without practicing. And I feel like that's a good goal to strive for. It's a very, you know, New Year's resolution type of goal. But you can do New Year's resolutions whenever the heck you want, man. You can. You really can. Just pick a time that you feel, or just do it. Just pick it up right now and say, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then, hopefully, you'll do it. I mean, not every day is perfect, and you're going to have days where you're really not going to feel like doing anything. And be kind to yourself on those days. Maybe just pick up a brush for 5-10 minutes and work on a little something. And you never know. You might find the motivation to keep going for an hour. But if you don't, you know, at least you picked up the brush, and at least you kept that routine and you kept that discipline in any way. And you know, only do it up to the point as long as you're still having fun, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Don't force yourself to do this if you're really not having fun. Like, don't do that. Maybe this hobby isn't for you. I hope not, because I think it's a fun one. But, you know, really try to see why maybe you keep delaying it. Like maybe just painting isn't your thing. Maybe you just want to play with them and, you know, do the strategies and do the campaigns. Well, I guess there's no campaigns, but, you know, do the strategies, do the maps, do the battle, and enjoy the complexity of that, which honestly is like a whole other thing. I say I'm new to this, but I'm really new to that. I've maybe only played 2 games in my whole life. Oh man, yeah, I need to play more, and it's so much fun. And I play a lot of other tactical games. I mean, I guess D&D doesn't count, but I play that, and I'm really into board games, and I'm really into turn-based JRPGs and stuff like that. I really like the Fire Emblem series and things like that. So I feel like, XCOM was one of my favorite games, that sort of thing. And I feel like this would really, I feel like it does really translate to those, and vice versa. But, like I said, finding the people and finding the motivation to play is so hard, especially because you don't want to play with an unpainted army. You feel guilty about it. But I'm telling you right now, if your army isn't fully painted, play anyway. Take up that unpainted army, go to a friend's house, and play with it. They're not going to care. You're not going to a competition. I guess I don't know if they have to be painted for you to play at a game store. That could be something you guys can let me know, because I don't know. But if you do, then maybe bring another army or really motivate yourself to finish. But if you don't, man, just go play. Play, have fun. I think I might do that this weekend. I'm just gonna go play. So, my husband came up with this really interesting thing. he really wanted to have some sort of long-term campaign, so kind of like Legacy Warhammer, I would call it. And he came up with this several-page document on how to do that. I haven't read it fully. I know, terrible. But I think I'm gonna ask him to do that. Plus, you know, part of his birthday gift. I think that is all of these first warriors that I've done. Now I'm gonna paint the bases black. And then, man, and then feel proud of myself. Ooh. I heard that for these paints, the army war paints, that you should really get one of those balls, like those balls that you put inside of the paint cans, because it gets really gross and like sticky and sticks together. I should probably do that. But you know, more things to buy. This is fine, right? And just throw a little water in that, it's fine. Maybe one day, maybe later. So another thing I really wanted to try that I haven't tried yet is to make special bases, fancy bases. As you can see, these are just the plain bases that the game comes with. I didn't do any modifications, any of that stuff. And I've watched so many videos, and all the pros, all of them, always make cool, unique bases. And I get it, you know, kind of. I get it. Like, it really sort of makes it look a little bit more cohesive and more like a actual product. The thing is, though, is that, you know, what if you make the base one thing and then you go play in another? Like, what if you make the base a forest and then you're in, like, ruins? I always get worried about that, so I'm always like, I'm just gonna leave the plain base. And, you know, I'm a lazy asshole, so I don't end up doing new bases. But, you know, maybe I should. Maybe for my Sisters of Battle? We'll see. We shall see. In the meantime, these are getting painted black. Black is back. Black is always in style. Black never goes out. Black is the best. But yeah, I love the necrons aesthetic. So I used to really be into, when I was a kid, Egyptian lore and things like that, and I feel like these guys definitely have that sort of Egyptian vibe. I mean, they're called like canoptic scorpions, or you know, things like that. I don't know the names of anything. Oh my gosh. Please, no one make fun of me for not knowing anything about the lore of this whole entire game. I'm just in it for the tactical stuff and the, you know, the painting. I'm just kidding. I'm still trying to learn it. I actually tried picking up the Horus Heresy books because I think that would be so interesting to read about, sort of like the drama of what began, you know, the whole universe, really, like the whole story, or at least, you know, the whole story of man to where they are in the current 40k world. However, man, I don't know. I had a really hard time getting through it, so I mainly listen to a lot of audiobooks, especially when I paint. It's like one of my favorite things to do is paint and listen to audiobooks. And it's like getting two things done at once. And I was listening to it, and I think just the fact that it's from too many different perspectives, like I thought I would be seeing it from Horus's perspective, or from Horus's like right-hand man, or from the Emperor's perspective, or something like that. excuse me, God Emperor. Long may he reign. But it was like a random soldier, and they were sort of going through what happened, and they immediately went into it, and it was sort of like an interview, and it just didn't click with me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should just try it again. Or you guys can tell me if it's even worth it. I'm a really big fan of the Goobertown Hobbies YouTube channel, because I feel like he just has such a positive attitude and really encourages people in his community, which, you know, is always a good thing. So I really love watching him. Plus his voice is really relaxing. And he just recently came out with a review of the Horus Heresy series, and he said it wasn't worth it. And I was like, oh no. And I had just picked up the book, so I was like, you know, I wonder what he has to say. Maybe it's something good. And he was like, nope, don't do it. It's not worth it. And I was like, man, because I was really interested. Maybe there's good like short stories, or I should just read the wiki. Not the wiki, but yeah, like the Warhammer wiki or something like that. I don't know. It just seems so appealing in concept to like really make a good story out of, but we'll see. I'm gonna do 2 coats of the black, because with the first coat you can still kind of see the copper that I had dry brushed. First time I did it, I don't have any like stand or anything like that to hold them, so I just held it with my hand, and my hand got so covered in paint. Obviously, it was a lot. You know, I'm having a lot of fun doing this, guys. Hopefully, if you watch, you're enjoying this too. Let me know if you think what you would like to see more of. If you'd like to see maybe a cut of me too. Right now, I've only got this one camera. But if you want to see me too, you know, just let me know. Seriously, let me know what you're working on, what your favorite painting techniques are. My favorite is dry brushing. It's just so satisfying. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos of saying that, you know, dry brushing is not like a great technique. It's sort of like a easy way out, but I feel like if done well, you can get so much out of it, and it comes out so good because it's the natural way highlights work. If you're at the very top, you know, if the light is shining right above and you paint a lighter color, dry brushing it, that is just naturally how it would come out, and it comes out so good. I love it. And it's so much fun because you're just like going crazy. Oh my god, did I paint my guy doing that? I think we're good. But yeah, it's so much fun, you know, and it can come out so nice and so natural with a little bit of practice. So I think that's my favorite, but you guys let me know. I don't really know all the terms, so you can also teach me some of the terms. I know glazing. I recently watched a video on glazing. That looks a little bit more complicated. There's, you know, the whole brushing from the side so that, you know, you get more of the paint. Man, you guys are really telling that I'm a noob. God, I hate the term noob too. That I am new to this sort of stuff. So I mentioned that I did cosplay. I haven't done it in a little while because one, conventions happened, and conventions stopped happening because of the pandemic, and you really sort of lose motivation. Because what I had a lot of fun with was going to the conventions dressed up and then talking to other people that were dressed up in the same show or game or something like that, and sort of like interacting with them. I mean, I also had my "why did you say that, Melissa? Oh my god, that's super awkward" moments, but I would get so caught up in the actual costumes that I could like get over it. But anyway, I had this really cool idea for a costume that I'm really surprised no one has done yet, and it's Warhammer themed. Don't worry, I've got a point to this. So I don't know if you guys, I also mentioned Fire Emblem. I don't know if you guys have played Fire Emblem Three Houses, but Edelgard, I think she looks really similar in both style and obviously color scheme to the Sisters of Battle. And I feel like it would be such an interesting and cool costume to do like a hybrid crossover of Edelgard as a Sister of Battle. I think that would be so cool. You know, she's got that stern, austere look with the white hair and the red and black. I think it would come out really cool. And then, you know, giant axes sort of always go with any sort of Warhammer theme. Even a gun one, you know, even a sci-fi based one. I don't know. I thought that would be really interesting. I thought that'd be really cool. No one's done it yet, and I'm a little too scared to do it because it's a lot of armor. I've done armor before, but you know, it's a lot of armor. So, if you are a cosplayer, my friend, you should totally give it a try if you feel like it. And you know, you watch this video while you do it, and I will be cheering you on, and you let me know, and I will look at it, and I will probably be in awe. I will definitely be in awe. I really like painting the rims of these. The brush size is like the perfect size for it. It feels really good. Although I will say the texture of this part when I do the paintbrush over it kind of like not grosses me out, but just doesn't feel good. I have this thing with textures. Like, you know how sometimes when you like do like the nails over a chalkboard feel and it makes you cringe? There's other things that are similar like that just tingle the back of my brain in the worst sort of way, and I hate it. It's kind of like anything ASMR I just don't like, and putting the paintbrush over this stuff kind of gives you that ASMR feeling. Like, I don't like the whole tingle in the back of my brain thing. I really don't. I know people love it and seek it, and ASMR is such a big thing now, but I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. Like, I really don't want to feel that way. Am I the only one? Am I crazy? Please tell me if I'm crazy. Because if I am, I can accept that. But I really don't want to be. I really want at least one person to understand me and understand why noises like that and making your brain tingle isn't good. Brains aren't meant to tingle. They're just not. They're not. They're meant to not feel anything. If your brain feels things, something is not going well. You know? At least that's my medical opinion. My unprofessional medical opinion. If your brain feels stuff, it's probably not good. You heard it here first. I guess unless you really like ASMR. But, you know, So I said that I listen to audiobooks while I paint, and I've gotten through quite a few books this past month. They were kind of shorter books, to be fair, but really good, really interesting, I would say. The first one I read this month was called Piranesi by Susan Clark, I believe. She's the one that did the Dr. Norrell and Mr. Strange books. I haven't read it, but I've heard of them. They're on my to read. But I was on a Reddit thread and I ran into a thread that talked about a specific type of book, sort of like mystery books. I don't want to spoil too much, but they were basically like a book that's sort of like a mystery. It goes into more detail, but again, it feels spoilery. And I really liked this book. The prose was really nice and the mystery was so intriguing. Plus it had such interesting world building. You basically follow the story of a person who lives in this interesting world of corridors and rooms, and he has one friend that visits him once a week, and it's sort of discovering who he is and where he is and things like that, and it's really interesting. I very much enjoyed it, and I recommend that if you want a shorter book. I believe it was an 8-hour audiobook, so really not that long of a book. You can probably, depending on your level, finish it in a few days of actually reading it, if that's your preferred way to do it. It was really good. I don't want to say more. Just read it. Just do it. Then I also, after that, read a sci-fi book called Childhood's End, which I didn't know had a Sci-Fi Channel, recent adaptation that was done maybe like 6 years ago. But anyway, it's about what would happen if aliens came to Earth and took it over peacefully and told us how to live our lives, and how we would feel. It's interesting because I would say I would be very conflicted if I were in that situation, because basically the aliens sort of like stopped wars and stuff like that. They did a lot, but they remained a mystery. They didn't really reveal themselves to the human race. And it's one of those things where, I'd be very, very happy, obviously, if all wars ended. That would be incredible, Every girl from a talent show's dream, world peace. But it would feel really bad to be told what to do. Ooh, I got his toe. Maybe that's just the rebel in me, free spirit in me, the person that doesn't like to be told what to do in me. Yeah, her. She just don't want to be told what to do, But they saved millions of people. They stopped all war, all of it. So it's interesting, and I think the ending, depending on your beliefs, and I guess where the human race is going to go in the future, in terms of like our productivity and our consciousness and things like that. You might either like the ending a lot and think that it was, it's the way things are going to go and the way things are meant to be, or it can be a horrifyingly sad ending that'll make you question reality for quite a while. And that's sort of how I felt. But other people that I know that have read it have had different opinions. So
if you end up reading that one as well, you should let me know. Because I do think, depending on one's philosophies and morals and ideals, the book can come off as very different for each of them. And I don't really know what the author intended. Did they intend for it to be more of like a horror or more of like a enlightenment? I don't know. I've just got 6 more boys, and then I think I'll be done. So the book that I'm reading now, because obviously I can't go a few days without picking up something else, is called A Rage of Dragons. And that first chapter really hooked me in. I'm a very big fantasy fan. I love fantasy books. You know, I read Brando Sando and Lord of the Rings and, you know, a whole bunch of other books. I named the really basic ones, but I've read a lot of them. And this one is definitely very unique. I think the way they culturally showed the, the main character and the main character's country is very, very different than your typical fantasy, and I loved it. I still like it. I mean, I'm only, I'd say maybe a third of the way, and I really liked it. And I love dragons, so, you know, anything that has a dragon in it, I'm here for. I'm in it. I'm loving it. I'm living it. So I'll let you know how that goes. But so far, so good. Plus, I think it's really interesting that it starts off with a main character who's, I guess I would call him a coward. He just doesn't want anything to do with fighting and will do basically anything possible to get out of it. Very, in their culture, maybe dishonorably. And I think that's so, also so different. You know, you always hear about these people that are like, well, I guess I gotta go save the world, or, oh, they can't do that. I'm so angry and hot-headed, and I can't believe this, and I'm gonna go out and fight, explore the world, and be amazing with all my amazing powers that I just magically get amazingly. Yeah. You know, they're overdone. I like them in their own, you know, fun romp sort of way. But I think seeing a different perspective can be a lot of fun. It's also why I really, really like The Wheel of Time. It's my favorite book series, and I think it's because the main character, you know, or the characters, the ones that have to go and save the world. You know, not everything good and amazing happens to them, and they have to really struggle with mental issues and difficulties that I think make a lot of sense. You know, not everyone is gonna follow the good guy across the world and join him immediately and all work together and be happy. You know, there's gonna be a lot of struggle. There's gonna be people against them. There's gonna be people that think they're right, the other's wrong, and, you know, I think Wheel of Time really shows that. It does have a very unique ways that it shows women, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Some people can't stand it. A lot of women I know couldn't stand it, but, you know, it was a different time when it was first read, and I think it's okay. I think it's fun. If it can be a bit over the top sometimes. But you should read that one too, just to see. And I guess if you guys have any good recommendations for Warhammer books that aren't maybe the horror series, but that are pretty interesting. I'm very much character driven, and the things that I like following a person, you know, and through their struggles, and you know, get the world building and history through that. Like I like world building, I like history, or you know, fantastical history. Real history is a little bit harder. But I think seeing it through the point of view of someone else's eyes is what really draws me in, and their conflict. So if you've got a recommendation on those, hit a girl up. Alright, it looks like this will be the last one for the day. I finally finished up the first 21 Necron warriors that I've ever painted. I know it's probably not the most exciting thing to watch, me painting bases, but hopefully you guys had a good time chatting with me and just listening in, or relaxing and just painting, or you know, finding the inspiration to get some painting done, or whatever hobby you do done. And thanks so much for stopping by. You guys have a great rest of your day, however long that is, and let's paint next time. Bye.